Hi, I'm Lou, and today we're going to, in Wise Women Unite, go through what your psychic abilities may be and how to develop them. So to start the quiz, I'm going to share my screen. And here we go. So there could be one or two clairs that you are more, um, that you have more abilities with over all the rest. We're going to go over where the clairs are afterwards. Most people have a primary clair, but there are some people that will have already know what their secondary and third clairs are, and a clair is just a psychic ability. So we're going to see how well you do as far as how much you have developed these abilities. These are the instructions for your quiz. Have a paper handy or open a notebook or a journal. Now, I'm going to ask a question. And it's very important that you really look within, close your eyes, look within, and the very first thing you notice about the answers, the first one that comes to mind before you even look at the answers, and then when you look at the answers, the first one you choose, it's the one. I don't want you to think, well, I really do this. I want to be that. It's not about what you want to be. It's not about what um, you think you might be, but what you really are. So think about it, think about what it might be. And then when you look at the questions, the answers, um, choose the one that the first catches your attention. And if there's more than one answer, note which one's the second or which one you are not sure of. Note all of them. And remember, nothing here is wrong or right. Everything that happens for you is exactly the way it's supposed to be. Everything is perfect just the way it is. So just do the first thing that comes for you. So I want you to close your eyes a moment and relax. Oh, breathe. And then with your eyes closed, think about this. Take a moment to recall the last holiday that you went on or your vacations, the last one. I want you to think about what you remember most clearly before you even look at the answers. What do you remember the most? And now that you have a clear picture, I want you to think about whether it's the scenery, whether it was how you felt, what you learned about it, the things you heard or you learned about. And now go ahead and open your eyes, and if you feel that it was the scenery, the landscape, the buildings, or what the people were wearing, write letter A on your paper for question number 1. If you feel that it's how you felt in your vacation or your holiday is the most important thing, or you remember the most of, like that you were tired, or that you were excited, or that you were happy, or you were relieved about something, then B is the answer for question number 1 for you, and I want you to write it on your paper. If you feel that what you learned from your travels, the customs, the culture, the language, the history, anything about the town or politics, and you found something like that interesting, And then your letter C, the letter C is what you want to write in your paper for question number 1. Now, if you remember the sounds of the waves or the wind, the sounds of the accents of the people that were in that city, the music in the streets, or any noises that you heard, and that's the first thing you thought of, that you remembered the most, the music that was being played in the background, or maybe you went to a concert, then D is the answer to question number 1. So I'm leaving this up for you for a little bit so that you can look at it again. And what you remember the most of your last holiday is what counts. If there is more than one, then the first one that you thought of, put it down. And then if you think that another one is close to it or they're right there, put that letter also. Okay, so A is for the scenery, the landscape, the people that what the people were wearing. B is how you felt. C is what you learned. And D is something that you heard that was interesting for you. Now, going back to question number 2, close your eyes again. Breathe and think about the last time that you met someone new. And what did you first notice about them? Keep your eyes closed. What did you first notice about this person? Did you notice their physical characteristics, what they look like, how they dressed? Did you notice how you felt being around them, the energy they gave to you? If you felt warm or happy or uncertain? Did that person make you feel relaxed or at peace? Did you learn something from this conversation? Was it so interesting that you remember the conversation, anything about it? Or was there a voice, or did that person have a voice that you will remember? The sound of their voice. Or maybe the way they laughed. So open your eyes, and if you feel like it was something about the way they looked, put the letter A in question number 2. If it was something about how you felt, if you felt nervous, relaxed, happy, if you felt warm being around them, then it's B for question number 2. If you learned something is interesting about their background or anything interesting about the place you were in because of this conversation, C is your answer for question number 2. And if the sound of their voice is what you remember the most, or something about something they said, a joke they said, a laughter that you heard, D is your answer. Okay, I'll close your eyes again. Let me give you a few seconds to look at this again and keep an eye on it. So you can choose A, B, C, or D. And if you feel like 2 of them are very close, put both of them. Think about the one that you thought first was the one, that's the first one, that's the primary, and then the second one, put it down as well. So now question number 3, close your eyes. Keeping your eyes closed, think about the last movie you saw. And what is it in that movie that you remember the most? I'm going to give you a second to think about what's the last movie you saw. Or perhaps a movie, perhaps not the last movie, but a movie that really impressed you. Recent movie that impressed you. So keeping your eyes closed, think about what is it that you remember the most? The way that people looked and the way they dressed, out of fashion, perhaps in from another era, or what the scenery was like. Was there a lot of nature? Was it deserted? Did it make you feel something, this movie? Did it make you feel like you learned something or that it made you happy or it made you sad? Did you learn something about another country or about people or about your life? Or perhaps the music in the movie was amazing and you loved the actors' voices and their music and the natural sounds that were in the music in the movie. So, oh, go ahead and open your eyes. And if you feel like the way the actors looked and how they dressed and what the scenery was like was is really what you feel was most interesting and that you remember the most, then A is your answer for question 3. If the way that you felt after the movie really keeps you thinking about the movie, like it made you happy, maybe it confused you, maybe you didn't like it, you were depressed about it for days, or you were so impressed with the with the movie that you couldn't sleep, made you nervous, then B would be your answer. If you learned something like a documentary or it made you think about something in your life or your ideology, the way you think about things, or maybe some kind of history that you learned from this movie, C is your answer. And if the sounds of the movie, whether they were natural sounds or whether the soundtrack was great, or maybe the voices of the actors impressed you, then G is the answer for question number 3. So I'm going to keep this up for a few seconds so you can look it up and make a decision. Okay, close your eyes. With your eyes closed, I want you to think about an early childhood friend that you have not seen for a long time. When you think about this person, this friend, what is it that you remember the most about this person? The way they looked, how you felt with them, what you learned from that relationship. Or maybe you remember the sound of their voice and their laughter. So go ahead and open your eyes. If how they dressed or any key physical characteristic, the way they moved or what they looked like, is what you remembered first, then A is your answer for question number 4. If how you felt about around them, if you remember feeling scared or unhappy or that person made you feel guilty or that person made you feel like they were bullying you and you felt uncomfortable around them, or maybe that person made you feel happy and excited and you couldn't wait to see them. So how you felt around them would be letter B for question number 4. If something In your relationship, had you learned something new that helped you with the next relationships? Or maybe you learned something about that person's culture that you didn't know before, that was different from yours, a background that's different from yours. Or maybe something their parents taught you or their family taught you that you didn't know before. Do you still remember this person from because of what you learned? Then C is the answer for question number 4. And if you still remember their voice and their laughter or their laughter, you remember this person's voice really well, like it was here next to you? D is your answer. And you could have more than one answer. But which one really you thought of first? A, B, C, or D? How they dressed, how you felt, what you learned, or the sound of their voice? Now close your eyes. Now I want you to feel into the how you answered for this quiz. You feel like you did well. We're going to move forward with calculating your answers, and you can open your eyes. And remember that you could have more than one answer for each question. If you look at your page and you tally them up and you have more A's in all of the answers, mostly A's, go ahead and tally them and see. They should be, more A's. And then even if their A's are secondary or you have a lot more A's than any other, then your primary clair is clairvoyant. Clairvoyant means that you have a spiritual sight. You can either see really well the past or the present or the future. When you are clairvoyant, you see things with your mind's eye, with the third eye. Your dreams are usually very vivid and they give you information and downloads. And most people that are clairvoyant, or all people, yes, when they're clairvoyant, they like to do things with their vision. So they love artwork or they look at things and observe people for a long time. If you're clairvoyant, you will probably say to someone, "Oh, I see," when they tell you something that you already know. Also, I see, or yeah, I see, or any answer, or if somebody's asking, telling you, giving you some news, or giving you, talking to you, and you understand it, you'll say, "I see." So that's very common for you. You are clairvoyant. That is your primary. Now, if you notice that there's more B's, it's the primary clair for you is clairsentient. This means that you feel what's going to happen. You feel something that happened in the past. You have a sensation in your body that um that makes you're very sensitive to energy. So you could pick up that somebody is sad, or that somebody is happy, or that somebody is lying, or that somebody is feeling guilty. You can also feel that you're going to a room and the energy there is positive or negative. You can feel when there's someone looking at you. You could feel perhaps somebody's pain, somebody that you're very close to, a child or a parent or a husband or wife. You might know that person is ill or in pain because you feel it. You feel it in your own body. And you might think it's yours, but it isn't yours. It's somebody else's. And people who are clairsentient, they're often accused of being too sensitive, but they're just themselves. That's their sensitivity. That's normal. Their emotions are very strong and they pick up a lot of stuff, a lot of energy around them. So clairsentient people tend to say, I feel you. When somebody tells you something, you say, I feel you. Also, clairsentient people deplete their energy very quickly unless they learn how to protect their energies, their aura. So that's something that you want to look into, how to protect your energy, how to keep your energy up. Because when you're in a place that is full of people, you're going to feel a lot. And it might be too much. It might be overstimulating. So, and your energy could be depleted fast. So if you're clairsentient, we're going to talk about how to develop this. We go on. If you got mostly C's, your primary clair is claircognient. This means that you know things without having any evidence, without, you have no idea how you know. You just know. And you're a person that will, when somebody says something to you, you'll say, I know. That's very common for claircognient people. They're often intellectual. They love to listen to things that are historical, or they like to travel because they want to know about other people's cultures. They just love learning things. So that's claircognient, or claircognizant could also. If you got mostly D's, then you're clairaudient. This is a spiritual hearing. You don't hear the things with your own ears, you hear it inside your head. I often hear messages, and they could happen messages for the right and for the moment, messages for the future, or messages from the past. And noisy places can make you a little bit uncomfortable. A lot uncomfortable. Loud music can make you uncomfortable. However, you probably love music. You probably love natural sounds. You probably even are a musician. Clairaudience will get downloads, messages, guidance. And in some situations, their ears, their hearing will be reduced in order to be able to listen to what's inside, to what you're getting. And sometimes they get everything, they hear everything. So sometimes it's just too much, and they might get things a little bit misunderstood. So developing clairaudience is very, very important so that you won't be misunderstood and you don't misunderstand others. Okay, so now that you know, these are the primary four clairs. There's more clairs. And now that you know, we can stop sharing, and we're going to develop some of these. So clairvoyance. Okay, we talked a little bit about clairvoyance, what it is. You might see images like in a movie. There are 4 exercises you can do to develop clairvoyance. I'm going to talk to you about a couple of them, not all. One of them is to recall the day, because recalling the day you can do for clairvoyance, for clairsentient, for claircognizant, for clairaudience, for clairalience, which is smell, and also, hi, nice to see you here. Let me stop sharing a minute here. How are you?
Are you talking to me?
Yeah, I see you.
Oh, it. Oh, it's Anita. I'm sorry. I thought the meeting started at 7:30, so I
Correct.
guess I'm late to the party.
Oh, no, no. No, no. Let's do this over. Hold on, let me stop recording.
Oh, it's been recording.